It is the time of the week called Friday Feedback. Let's see what has been on the minds of some of the people in the audience. You can always email info@davidpakman.com if there's something you'd like to say. Naturally, comments left on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook may be featured in the Friday Feedback segment. Let's get right to it. Viewer Austin Hurst left a major attack on the channel, saying, quote, "This channel should be called misinformation. I have personally proved this person wrong time and time again, and it's just sad at this point. I hope most of these accounts making the comments are bots. If not, I'm genuinely lost for words." Well, Austin, I have bad news for you. Most of the comments are real people. Yes, some of the right-wing comments supportive of Russia or Trump or whatever probably are bots. We all are dealing with it. When you're at the size and scale where we are, you're going to have to deal with some right-wing bots when you're a progressive YouTube channel. But it is absolutely the case that there are real people who actually value the discussions we have here, and they are reflected in the comments and on Friday Feedback. Margaret Wheat wrote in to say, "I guess I'm a deplorable cultists and proud. Love President Trump." You know, Margaret, I think you're absolutely right. You said it so well. I couldn't possibly do any better. So I'll be leaving your comment without any further comment, since it's just so perfect and so absolutely on the nose. Reddit user Charlie No Surf posted, "What happened to the Spanish show? Is this a Mandela effect moment?" David has this second channel where he posts dubs of the regular show in Espanol. However, when I look at it now, it seems a lot of the videos have been removed. There hasn't been a post in over a month, but I swear they used to have full episodes here. Any idea what happened? So nothing's been removed from the Spanish channel. We've essentially shut it down. And I know some people are upset with me, but let me explain it to you. Some time ago, we decided, hey, we should do something in Spanish. Since I speak Spanish, the first idea was I should just redo all of the content in Spanish. I very quickly realized I can't do that. There's not enough hours in the day. It's just not possible. I can't redo all the show, do it in English and then do it in Spanish. Can't do it. So then we decided to dub the content, to have a voice actor of sorts dub the content. Of course, we have to pay for the dubbing, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. I think for the amount that we actually got one quote from the Mr. Beast people to do the dubbing. They wanted $10,000 or $12,000 a month. We ended up finding a company to do it for a fraction of that. And we said, let's give it 6 months and see if we can even break even. Not even like break even on what we've spent, just like break even for a single month. And it wasn't coming even close. I think we were paying, it might have been $2,500 a month for the dubbing, and the YouTube channel was making like $20. Okay. And so we had to make the decision to shut it down. And some people wrote to me and said, "David, is it all about money for you, or what's going on?" It's not all about money, but here's the reality. One of the things that I value is focusing on what's essential and our core competencies. We overestimated the possible size of the population that wanted commentary motly about American politics in Spanish. I thought, I don't know, maybe people in Central and South America would be interested. We can consider those populations. It turns out the market size is way, way, way smaller. And it was reaching almost no one, costing a bunch of money, and not moving the needle. And so we decided to shut it down. Yes, we could have kept it going for the tiny audience it had, but we don't want to spread ourselves too thin. We want to do what is moving the needle and what is essential. It simply is not essential. Is it an idea for someone else to pursue? Sure. Should someone just do the show we do, but in Spanish? Great idea. For us, it just didn't make sense. And so we decided to pull the plug. I know some people don't like that, but it's what we had to do. All right. On YouTube, Adenansu says, "How long till Christie endorses Trump again?" I know where the sentiment is coming from. Okay. Here's my prediction as a non-betting man. I would bet that no matter how Christie does in the Republican primary, and it doesn't look like he's going to do well, My bet is Chris Christie does not endorse Trump in 2024, period. And there are enough Republicans who are not endorsing Trump now, Mitt Romney, others, that it's going to be absolutely fine for Chris Christie at his current level of notoriety and his current stage of his career to not endorse Trump. My bet is, although I understand why you're saying it, that Chris Christie does not endorse Donald Trump. Drug Money asks, David, why didn't you cover the 9/11 anniversary? You know, I've talked about this before. It's now been 22 years since 9/11. And obviously on the, let's see, based on when the show started, on the 15th anniversary of, no, on the 15th anniversary of 9/11. No, the 5th anniversary. What am I talking about? When did the show start? Now I don't even know. Listen, during past anniversaries, we've covered it. I told the story of where I was on 9/11. We talked about how 9/11 shaped American foreign policy and where American foreign policy stood on the basis of 9/11. We did it. And after several years, the discussions became essentially the same. I opened it up to the audience and said, for how long should we be doing 9/11 anniversary shows or discussions? And the overwhelming majority of the audience said, you don't really have to do it anymore. It doesn't really seem like there's anything to add. And so for many years, we've not covered the 9/11 anniversary. The 22nd anniversary did not seem particularly relevant, and we didn't cover it. I don't have anything new to say about it, quite frankly. And if people in the audience believe it should be covered again, tell me what it is that we would say or that I would be able to add. And then I will absolutely reconsider it. David Barden wrote in and said, to all you Dems, just look at Republican-run states and look at the Dem-run states. That speaks for itself. You know, it's true. However, I think the point that this viewer is trying to make is the opposite of reality. If you look at democratically run states and Republican run states on the basis of gubernatorial party and state legislature on average over time, what you find is that the democratically run states are more likely to have smaller budget deficits or no budget deficit. You find that they have far more diverse economies in the blue states. You find that a larger share of the population has health insurance. You find that education is better. You find that incomes are higher. You find that they are better positioned when it comes to paying into rather than sucking off the teat of the government dole from federal taxes. It is true that when you look at blue states and red states, the numbers speak for themselves. But I think it's the opposite of what this person suggests it is. User I just want to find votes on YouTube says, I'm old enough to remember when Republicans didn't have a fetish for the likes of Putin, Kim Jong-un, Bolsonaro, and Viktor Orban. Yeah, I remember that as well. I remember that because it actually wasn't that long ago that was the case. But times have very much changed. And, you know, there's this incredible contrast where on the one hand, Trump and other right-wingers, MAGA Trumpists, still regularly talk about how the left is fascistic. And yet they are enamored with the world's fascistic dictators. Duterte is another one. Sometimes Bashar al-Assad, Erdogan. They are enamored with wannabe fascists. They become wannabe fascists themselves. And yet they say that the left is made up of fascists and Marxists, which is quite an interesting combination. But no, I'm old enough to remember that as well. Here's Keith Mason. This is delightful. Keith Mason says, how about the economy, border security? Border is, of course, misspelled. It's the wrong border. How about the economy, border security, and foreign policy? Biden, or should I say Obama, sucks at all this. We Americans have rights, and I think that if you don't appreciate that, you don't like that, you don't like seeing that, whoever these people are should leave the country, go to Russia, go to Cuba, go to China, go to North Korea, then talk to those people that have escaped those regimes. No punctuation there. That was all one sentence. I have only one aspect of this that I want to address. This whole, like, if you don't like it here, go to Cuba. If you don't like it here, go to Venezuela, go to North Korea, whatever. I have never on this program presented with rose-colored glasses or in a positive utopian light the regimes of Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, China, or Russia. And so this whole idea that we leftists want the United States to look like those countries is laughable on its face. But just as importantly, going back to the previous message, it's the right-wingers who are enamored with the leaders of those countries. It's the right-wingers, including MAGA Trumpists, who talk about how smart Xi is, or Kim Jong-un, or Putin, and how clever, quick trials and no due process and the entire thing. If anybody would be better suited to live in those authoritarian regimes than in the United States, it's increasingly the MAGA Trumpists, not the center-left Democrats and social Democrats that make up certainly our audience. If you have something to say it politely, ideally. You can write to info@davidpakman.com. We'll be waiting, but say it politely. Why not? We have a fantastic bonus show for you today. You can sign up at joinpakman.com. Do it before the prices go up, folks. We are getting dangerously close to the launch of the new website. When the new website launches, membership prices will go up for the first time in a decade. You can insulate yourself from that because once you've locked in a price, that's your price for as long as you want it. So sign up at joinpakman.com. Bonus show is coming up, and we'll be back with a new show on Monday.